Welcome to the Loving Path Podcast, episode 12. My name is Debbie. I haven't been here in quite some time. Life has been really busy. This is a podcast about knitting primarily, and hand-dyed yarn, and simple living, homeschooling sometimes, and really just me being as true to myself as I can. So welcome. Thank you so much if you are still here after those 3+ maybe months that I haven't been here. I'll tell you all about why I haven't been here. It wasn't planned, it just has been really busy. And I couldn't just find the time to sit down and do this. I kept thinking, well, I'll do it tomorrow, and I'll do it Monday. Monday came and went, and the week came and went, I'll do it Monday, and there was always something. And I think part of it was nerves, because I'd been gone so long that I didn't really know how to get back into it. And another part of it was that I really didn't have a lot of knitting to show you because I'd been so busy. So I didn't want to just sit here and talk about nothing. I'm not buying yarn and don't have a lot to show you, so it just felt silly to come on here and just chat. But anyway, I'm here. Hello. Thank you if you're new and you're checking out my little corner of the universe. I know that is, well, I know that there are a million podcasts you could be watching about knitting and dyeing and fiber arts. So if you're here spending your time with me, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's just get right to it because I think this could be long. Why I haven't been here? I haven't been here because I've been busy. It's just been nuts. Last time I was here, I think, was April, the end of April, the very beginning of May, and that was right after I did a trunk show at Fun Fiber Arts in Oakville, which was amazing. And then I basically died for quite some time. I was dying quite a bit. For upcoming shows, I had a show June 3rd, 2nd, whatever that Saturday was, called Gathering in the Green. That's here in Wortley Village where I live in London, Ontario. It's just like 3 blocks from my house. So it's so nice to be able to do that. And I've done that for 6 years. So I never give that up. It just brings all the community together. There are lots of different kinds of, it's all handmade artisans, super fun. And then the following weekend was the Tecumseh Yarn and Fiber Festival in Fenelon Falls, Ontario, which was a blast. I went up with my friend Cheryl, who is My Needle Crafts on Instagram. We drove up together, we spent the night, and it was really fun. We set up, we went out for dinner with some friends, and yeah, I don't know, it was great. It was a great day. And but far, right? Like, it was, I think it took us like, I think it was supposed to be 3.5 hours maybe. I think it took us closer to 5 because of when we went, and we took back roads, and it was rush hour on Friday, cottage country traffic. It was nuts. But we got there and it was all good. And then the next show I did was called Home County Folk Festival here in London again. It's a 3-day festival. It's the best thing ever. I've not done it before just because it's huge. It goes from 6 o'clock Friday night to 11, and then Saturday 12 to 11, and Sunday 12 till 9:30, I think. So Isaac's always been too young for me to do that. Like, I just didn't feel really comfortable leaving him for the weekend. And he wouldn't want to come hang out with me there. He's just bored of his mind, and he's busy. So just sitting in a booth is not his thing. So this was the first year I really felt like I could do it. And my friend Kate of Treetown Arts suggested that we do it together. So we applied together under the name Flora Fiber Arts. She is a weaver, and I am obviously a hand dyer. And so we decided to combine our passions for fiber arts together, and we just applied together. They knew we were separate businesses, but it was fine. We just had to have one name that we could apply under. We did that, and it was a blast. It stormed the entire weekend, like thunder, lightning, pouring down rain, but it didn't matter. People still came out in droves, like, just incredible. We were right across the walkway from the east stage, and I think it was the east stage. Anyway, there were people sitting out there with like tarps over their heads and covered in rain gear and umbrellas and everything, and they're just sitting there listening to the music. People still played, and oh, it's such a great vibe. And they're all Canadian, like indie artists from across Canada. The headliner was Jim Cuddy of Blue Rodeo, and so Friday night, as I'm closing down my booth, he is on the main stage, which isn't, I couldn't see him, but I could hear him. And he breaks out into 5 Days in May from Blue Rodeo, which is one of my favorite songs. And I just stood there, I had my eyes closed, and I'm zipping up my tent, and the rain's coming down, and it was just like something magical. I thought, this is like a gift. It was just so beautiful for me, and so I was so grateful to do that show, and we will be there next year. So if you're local to London, oh my goodness, it was just come. It's just so much. Even if you're not like in London, but in the surrounding area, you come down, you grab a room somewhere, or if you've got friends or family, and hang out. The music's incredible, just incredible. But it was a cold and wet weekend, so that wasn't super fun. But not cold so much, but wet. And so then the water gets into your bones, and my good friend Greg, who is always there, like rain or shine, no matter what, he left early, and I thought, oh, who are you? You never leave early. He's like hardcore, and he's like, I'm just so wet that I'm just chilled and I'm not having fun. And because he lives a little bit outside London, he's like, when it clears up, I'm not coming back. So he just left. But that wasn't until quite a bit later. He'd still been there for hours and hours and hours. That was the Sunday. Anyway, that was that. And then this past weekend, we had Fiber Spirit in Barrie. So I'm still on a bit of a high from that. So I can talk more about that. Oh my goodness, it was such a great show. I was supposed to go with my friend Cheryl again, but Isaac had decided that he would register for a second session of theater camp this summer. And of course, performance day fell on the 24th, which was the Friday, and that's the day that we were going to go up. And I've never missed a show of his, obviously. I'm either backstage or I'm in the audience, and I could not bear to miss it, especially once I found out that he had solos and, you know, was opening the show with a duet with a friend of his. They sang Love Song from Pippin. I'm like, I cannot miss this. My husband was like, I'll record it. I'm like, no, I have to be there. I have to be there. So, of course, I called Cheryl. I'm like, oh, there's been a big snag. And she's like, oh, it's fine, no big deal. So then Fred was just going to come up with me, and we were going to go together, but then Isaac decided he wanted to come too. So the three of us hop into our little tiny Mazda 3 Sport and load up all the yarn. In fact, I didn't have enough room for all my yarn, so Cheryl ended up taking some of it with her. And we headed up Friday right after performance day ended. His show ended at 3:15, and we signed him out. We hopped in the car, we came home, fed the cats, grabbed our bag of our luggage, popped all the yarn to the car, and we took off. And we were on the road by 4:15. And we got in about 7:15. Oh, that can't be right. Anyway, it's something like that, maybe 4:30. Isaac's in the background going, 7:10. Anyway, we got there at a fairly decent time. The traffic was amazing. We took the 407, which is a toll highway, but it saved us a lot of time, and I'm grateful that we did that. So we got there, we set up in record time, and I think it's because I had my husband to help me, because he's just a gem and a pro, and he got all my grid wall set up. I'll put some pictures in here of my setup. And Isaac just ran around and talked to people. And then we went back to our room, and we slept for, well, we didn't have a great night's sleep, because, you know, you don't when it's a hotel and not your own bed. Oh, Isaac says he did. I did not sleep at all. Up the next morning at 7 o'clock, breakfast was included with our room, so we went down and had food and went back over to the show to finish setting up, and oh my goodness, people came out in droves, like just crazy. You know, you always know at these kinds of shows that there are, and if you're on Instagram or Ravelry, of course you know that there's a massive fiber community out there. But I'm always so impressed with how many people come out and support. I mean, I don't always expect to make tons of money, because truthfully, there were 59 vendors there. So you could have shopped from, and they didn't all have yarn obviously, but a lot of them did, and you could have shopped from anybody. So, you know, you take all those people and you kind of divide it up. You think, oh, well, you know, I'll make what I make, whatever. But people buy a lot of yarn in general, right, at those kinds of shows, and everyone walks it out, they're just doing so well. So I was really, really happy with that show. My friend Danny also came up to help me out a little bit, which I was so grateful for. And my husband's cousin came. She lives just around Barrie. She came out and spent the morning with us and hung out with Isaac and brought him some presents. And anyway, it was just amazing. And I reconnected with fiber friends who have bought for me in the last shows I've done. which was really nice to see those familiar faces again. And I also reconnected with fellow artisans, other dyers. We did trades. It was just, it's such a beautiful community. And if you haven't been to a fiber show, I highly recommend that you get to one. There's another one coming up soon. But yeah, definitely get to one because they're just the vibe is so great, right? Everyone's so supportive and encouraging. And I had a blast, and I'm just feeling very, very grateful for this community, and I get to be a part of it with so many amazing makers. So there, it was so good, and it was well organized. It was well attended. It was just great. So even though it's kind of a hike for us, 2.5 hours, it was so worth it. And I got lots of stuff there. I'll show you in a little bit. Okay, I have somebody in the background talking to me here. So anyway, the next show coming up is going to be the Kitchener-Waterloo Knitters Fair, which is at the Kitchener Auditorium, and that is on September 8th, and I will be there as a vendor in the micro market. But there are more like 160 vendors there, I think. So it's 3 times the size of Barrie. It's massive, but everyone is there, and it's such a great show. So if you get a chance and you're in the KW area, Southwestern Ontario, Central, anywhere Ontario. People were coming from North Bay to Barrie, which of course it's closer than coming to London, but it's still a huge hike. People were coming from all over. So if you're in the area, or you know, somewhere in the Ontario area and you want to come to KW, I would highly recommend it. People come from the States. It's great. So I'm looking forward to that. So now that I've done with Barrie, I have to basically die the next 9 days. I've got 9 days to kind of get everything, all my stock piled back up, which isn't a lot of time, but, and here I am podcasting, but I had to come on podcast because I've missed you guys so much. I've missed being here, I've missed sharing stuff, and I've had a lot of people reach out and say, are you done podcasting? Because I really miss your podcast. Thank you so much. I am not done. I did not mean to take that long of a hiatus. It just was summer, right? And so all those shows, plus Isaac had his big performance with Original Kids Theatre Company. He was in Aladdin, and he was Omar. So if you're familiar with Aladdin, the movie, which is what the Broadway show is based on, there's a monkey, Abu, Aladdin's kind of sidekick. But for Broadway, they didn't want a monkey on stage, so they went back to the kind of original story. And in the original story, there were these 3 friends, Babkak, Omar, Kasim, and they kind of helped Aladdin thieve, and they were kind of like his cohorts in crime. And they brought those back for the Broadway show, which was amazing because they had songs that were cut from the movie. I think the movie only actually has 5 songs, but there was a lot of music that was written for the movie, and a lot of it got cut. And some of those songs that got cut were songs that these guys sang together. So he was Omar, and he was one of the sidekicks, and they got to sing the song Babkak, Omar, Aladdin, Kasim, which is the 4 of them singing and dancing together. There was one called High Adventure, which was just the 3 of them singing a song about rescuing Aladdin because he'd been captured. Sorry. Careful that doesn't fall. There was, there was just some great stuff, and it was a lot of fun. The cast was only 22 people. They got super close. They were all grade 6, 7, 8, or going into grade 7, 8, 9. Half our cast was going into grade 9. So they were a bit more mature than sometimes when you get a junior show and you've got grade 3s and 4s. They were very self-sufficient. Isaac's birthday happened to fall within that week, so we took the whole cast to East Park, which is a water park here in London, for his birthday, his 12th birthday, which he says, I'll never forget, Mom. He thanked me a dozen times over the next day, and you know, that makes it all worth it. It's not cheap, obviously, but it was so worth it to have him be that happy, and he's never had a proper birthday party with friends, so because he's always performing on his birthday. So it just all worked out. It was fabulous. So that's in camp, and he's been at camp. That's also been keeping us busy. So anyway, I'm here and I'm back and I want to dive in. That was like a 16-minute intro. But speaking of Isaac, do you like my new mug? It's got a home sense. I saw it, and I love London so much because we were there a couple years ago. Anyway, the last couple of days, Isaac has been rewatching our Vlogmas. Sometimes he goes online and he just loves to watch his antics, and loves to watch how both of us, but I think particularly himself, gets so excited over the yarn that Bumblebee Acres Farm had dyed for our advent calendar. It was a Harry Potter advent calendar. If you haven't watched Vlogmas, you can go back and watch it. So much fun. So he's been all up in Vlogmas land again. And he said, you know, I think I need to come on your podcast because I really miss being on the podcast with you. I said, oh, well, I'm going to podcast tomorrow. He's like, oh, you think I could come on? I might be able to arrange that. So, without further ado...
Ta-da! I've been waiting patiently for 17 minutes.
Walking back and forth and back and forth. So,
I'm here.
Yeah, and we're going to do Vlogmas again this year, aren't we?
Yes. And there is one thing I would like to say. I'm going to give you a tiny teaser and a tiny sneak.
Should you?
Oh, yes. I'm not going to give much away. I promise I won't give much away. No. This has nothing to do with
the... Okay.
Please.
Okay.
This is my thing. Something I've been planning for a very long time.
Oh, you don't love it too.
Oh, yes. And this year, for Vlogmas, first of all, I would like to announce that it has been confirmed that I am returning for season number 2 coming this December. I am coming back. I'm very happy. And I have come
I hired him back.
Yeah. I've come up with a new segment, and that is at the beginning of every Vlogmas. Instead of, we might do music, but...
I think you should keep this as a surprise.
No.
No, I do think you should.
No, it's going to be good. I'm not going to give much away.
Okay.
Over the beginning, I'm not going to say, there's only 2 words I'm going to say. And those most 2 important words are theme song. This year, our Vlogmas, my idea, is going to have a theme song. That's all I'm going to say.
Alright.
I just thought I would get everybody hyped up, and then they'll look forward to it even more.
Absolutely.
And then on November the 30th, they're going to be tossing and turning in their beds. I can't sleep.
It'd be like the night before Christmas, but it's the night before Vlogmas.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. Okay.
That's what I wanted to say.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into some finished objects, shall we? Because I have a couple things to show.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Finally.
I don't have any finished
No,
objects, so.
Not yet. Someday. We do have an acquisition.
What's that? Oh, yes.
And so the other reason I haven't been on here very much is because it took me so long to finish my spike sweater that I kept coming on here and be like, oh look, I've knit this much, and okay, you can't do that because it's gonna, right, you have to sit down. I know. So I didn't want to keep coming on here every 2 weeks, and being like, oh, it's the same sweater, because I only knit one thing at a time. So I just kept waiting, and I finally finished it though. I love it so much. I can't even wear it. It's so hot. It's so hot here in southwestern Ontario. It broke for a few days and it was like lower 20s, but now it's back up to 30s, in the 30s, and it's just too hot. What are you drinking?
Orange Pico tea.
Fancy.
It's what you're drinking as well. Let's show our mugs. This is my lion mug. I am a Leo. So
through and through, right?
Kind of fitting.
It is.
And
that's why we got it for you.
And it's kind of not really textured, but this part kind of comes out, so you can feel it, and it's all like, I like textures.
Yeah, you do.
So I like those mugs.
Yeah. So this is, oh, you're sitting on it. So this is my Zweig by Caitlin Hunter, also known as Boyland Knitworks, in my Soul Sock base, and the colorways are Simon and Lolly Brock, and I just love it. I had it, of course, at Berry, and everyone was like, oh my god, it's so nice. And it just, yeah, it's just great. I can hardly wait for it to turn cool so I can wear it. And you know, it's such a striking yoke. That pattern is just great. And it's actually not, like, it's fairly detailed. So there's lace in the yoke, but there's also cables in the yoke. And then of course there's color work. And then all the body and the arms have these little X cables on them, just like crosses. Probably see it better on the arm. Can't see it very well at all. Hard to see. It looks like it's just part of the yarn, but it's not. There's these little cables. There you go. And I know some people leave that off, and I understand why, because it does slow you down a lot. But what it adds to the aesthetic of the sweater, I think, is 100% worth doing it. It's just so, it's so great. So I can hardly wait to wear that. Happy to have one sweater done in the whole year. Actually, it's not. I've got something else too, but that's gonna have to wait because it's not handy. And then I have this. I should also mention. I'll mention that a little bit. Oh, I don't forget. Anyway.
Tell me.
No, it's okay. It's in my notes.
Okay.
I have my Pure Joy. I'm not even sure you guys saw this cast on. Probably not. I started this Pure Joy shawl by Hohi Locatelli in my Everest base, which is 80/20 BFL nylon. And the pink is peony and the brown is tea season. And oh my goodness, it's so great.
The colors complement each other.
They do, don't
Very
they?
well. They go well.
Yeah, that's the plan, right? You want to have things that, they have that backwards.
You wouldn't want like
Maybe
hot
half
pink and hot green and then like a very calming yellow. Like that just wouldn't
Why?
work.
Well, yeah, make sure you put them together and make sure they look all right together.
Yes.
Yeah, pink and browns are pretty together. Anyway, it's quite long. Like I can't even, you know, so. But it's a super fun knit. It's all shaped with short rows. And obviously some yarn overs for the little eyelet piece here where the color is. And then you do that solid block at the bottom. You can see where I blocked it because it's kind of got these little scallopy bits which technically aren't supposed to be there. But that's okay. I can't wear it. It's just too hot. I don't even know how to wear it, to be honest with you. Too hot. But it'll be great in the winter. There. I'm not really a fashion kind of person. It does. I wouldn't wear it with this though, would I?
This? You would wear these. Like the purple and the brown.
I know, but I think I wouldn't be wearing a short sleeve t-shirt if I was wearing a shawl. If it was cold enough for a shawl.
No.
Yeah.
You might wear your long one.
Yeah.
If you had a long one.
For sure. But yeah, so that's done. I'm super happy about that. I blocked it and then there's nowhere big enough in my house to put it. So I had it on the kitchen table, which isn't big enough. And then we ate last night, so I moved it to the bedroom on my bed. And I ended up going to bed last night and it was still a little damp. I didn't want to move it, so I just left it there and slept beside it. I covered it up so the cat wouldn't sleep on it. You know, and then and then I just I slept beside it. Isn't that pretty? I love tea season so much. And then you've got peony. Just soft and gentle. Anyway, so that's pure joy that's done. And I am finished knitting my Varsity. I just haven't finished seaming it together. It's half seamed, and I think it's over there somewhere, but that's okay. We don't need to get it right now. You know what? Let me think if I can see where. Could you grab my Loving Path bag on the piano? Right there?
I would be honored.
This is silly. It's in there. I'll show it to you real quick. I will have it done.
First of all, let's show them the bag.
They don't need to see the back.
They don't know what it looks like.
Doesn't matter. Okay. It's okay. So this is it here. A little wrinkly because it's a bit of my back, but it's done. Both sides are done. It's seamed all the way. Nope, that side's not seamed. It just started. This side is seamed up to the arms, and then my arm will go through that little hole, and then you just basically seam across the shoulder. Leave a hole for your neck, seam across the other shoulder and seam down the side, and it'll be done. Doesn't look good. Can stand up or not. Yeah, it'll be cute once it's done. Once it's done, I'll wear it and show it to you. But that is by Diana Walla, or oh goodness, I always want to forget her name. Paper Tiger. I don't want to forget her name, but I always do forget her name, yeah.
I was still thinking that.
And so that's really great. I think she's Cake and Viking on Instagram and Paper Tiger on Ravelry. And this is my Soul Sock base as well. This is my Loving Path colorway, and this is Plum Pudding. And this lighter one is actually kind of like a botched Loving Path. It just didn't have enough of the darker color in it. So instead of selling it as a one-off, I just used it and I striped them, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Really pretty. Again, soft and subtle. Just tends to be how I like my clothes. And my yarn, frankly. So yeah, so that's that. And then what am I working on? We'll move right in.
These things?
Oh, we'll get there, we'll get there.
Okay, I'm just a little excited because I've not been on a podcast before.
I have an order.
An order?
An order that I do everything in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good to keep that. It's kind of good to keep order for your order, because if you don't, then everything falls out of order, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then it keeps you on track, right? It's like having a schedule. Yeah.
Okay.
Do that a little bit.
Yeah.
So I've started just yesterday my Tecumseh Sweater, also by Caitlin Hunter, Boyline Knitworks, which you know these are all over the place right now. Oh my goodness, I love it. Where's the back? Okay. Can I ask you, Isaac, just to hold that down, like the rolled part? It's kind of hard to see. There you go. There it is. So it's
Are they green maple leaves?
no, they're just crosses.
Oh.
So the color, the pinky color, is called Ballerina. It's on my Griffin DK, which is 100% non-superwash BFL.
your colorway again?
Yeah, it's all my stuff.
Wow.
And then the green is Laurel. And then the contrast color for the arches, if you're familiar with the pattern. Where'd it go? Oh, sorry. Oh, that doesn't look quite the way it looks in real life.
It's a lot darker.
That looks more raspberry, right, on the screen?
Yeah, this is more purpley.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Almost like red wine, but not quite as dark as red wine, but not as raspberry as this looks.
Maybe it's the light. Shall I turn it off just briefly?
No, I don't think that'll do anything. I think that's going to just make everything go really dark.
I wonder why the colors don't always show up the same way.
Anyway, that'll be the arches. I'm actually at the spot where I need to put them right now, but I didn't have it wound up, so I just stopped last night and went to bed. So next time we podcast, I'll have some of that done. I'm so excited. It's going to be my... Oh, it's also going to be my Rhinebeck sweater, because I'm going to Rhinebeck. What? I know you're not coming.
My own mother. I'm the biggest
okay, you're too hot. Oh my god, it's so warm in here. Yeah, so I think this will be my Rhinebeck sweater. If I get it done. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's not till October. We leave October 17th. My good friend Christine and I are going.
I'm not coming.
We are flying down, so we're leaving London, flying to Toronto, and then flying from Toronto to JFK on the Wednesday, which is the 17th. We're going to spend 2 nights in New York, and you'll go to Pearl Soho and Brooklyn General, and hopefully cross the river to New Jersey to do UNIT. We didn't get tickets for India Untangled, so we won't be there, but maybe we'll hover outside if we get back in time. And so we're just going to hit all the yarn shops in New York and see what we can find there. And really, to be honest, I'm much more interested in local rustic yarns than I am in indie dyed stuff, because I have lots of access to indie dyed yarn, obviously. Not just my own, but I've got, in Ontario alone, we have so many dyers, so it's amazing. And I'll show you some of the stuff I got on the weekend with some trades with friends. So I'm not really worried about the indie dyed stuff. It's really just the local rustic sheepy fibers that I really want to get my hands on, right? So anyway, that's exciting. So this will be, and I will definitely be podcasting before then, so you'll see some of it finished up. I just love that subtle pink.
I like more hot pink.
Do you? Yeah.
Hot pink is like my favorite color in the world.
Like that one in the background. We'll show that in a minute.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you're a hot pink kind of guy.
And greens. And
greens.
I like neon. I like all things neon.
Yeah, well, we've discussed that on Vlogmas, right? How our color palettes are really different. Your color palettes are much more bright and poppy, and mine are much more neutral.
I like skeins from the bees, like Flu Powder and the Chamber of Secrets, and you prefer more mellow stuff, like the Three Broomsticks and the Looney Lovegood one.
Referring to Vlogmas last year, or our Advent. Yeah.
Speaking of Flu Powder.
Yeah, well, in the sack, we're almost there. So yeah, that's all my works in progress and my finished objects. Took me a really long time. I think when I did my Make 9 2018, I was incredibly ambitious to think I would finish all those things. And I think normally I would have. If I wasn't dyeing yarn, I think I would have finished those and no problem. But
the eyeball shawl?
I know I haven't started that. I haven't started. I think I've only finished one off my list. But when you're doing 15-hour dye days, preparing for shows, there's just no time for knitting. Like, I would go 2 weeks and not knit on that Zweig. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then when he had his show, The Wizard of Oz over March break, I'd go 2 weeks and not knit. Like, there's just not time.
And then Aladdin, you were busy too.
Yeah. And then at shows, you don't have time to knit because you're busy with people, talking and chatting and stuff. Anyway, it's all good. Just, I'm not producing as much as I normally would. That's all right. So let's get into acquisitions, because we have a few things to show. So we're gonna go back to
Vlogmas.
Why are we going to Vlogmas? Wait, we don't have to go to Vlogmas to do the bees. So, in the spring, maybe in the summer, my friend Sam, who is one of the bumblebees at Bumblebee Acres Farm, and I were texting back and forth, and she was commenting on a few of my Ode to Musical Theater monthly kits that I do, which I haven't done in the last couple months because, again, busy. And we decided to do a trade. So she wanted my Wizard of Oz kit. She's a big, I think it was the Wizard of Oz. Yeah. Big fan of The Wizard of Oz. And
Sound of Music.
And Sound of Music for her mom for Mother's Day. And so we opted to trade. And I got this beautiful skein of Flitwick's Christmas tree. Hold on. From her. That's a different, yeah, you have to wait. And I love it so much. I think these are going to be great socks. Christmas themed socks. Might have to be my Christmas Eve cast on. We'll see. You might need to cast on some Christmas Eve socks.
Maybe.
And then I also got, hold on, sorry, I know. I also got this sweet little, sorry about the crinkling, mini set, which is just called Luna Lovegood. And it has in it Pygmy Puff, Quibbler, Spectra Specs, Looney Lovegood, and Radish Earrings.
My personal favorite.
Yeah, I think that and Quibbler are my favorites. Just because they're new to me. The other ones, both Looney Lovegood and Pygmy Puff came in our advent calendar.
Yes, but the Spectra Specs.
That one's great too. They're all great. They're all just so Luna. And they are on their Coquette sock, which is 75/25 superwash Corriedale and nylon. And so is this. Here's their little label tag. So sweet. So that was our trade. But then, because we were trading, I knew Isaac had wanted something for a while, and I thought, well, instead of paying shipping again later on, let's just do it now. And he bought this skein of yarn with his very own money because he wanted it so bad. Go ahead.
Flue Powder, which was one of my highest rankings in the Vlogmas ranking, which we never did. We recorded it, but then we never ended up.
That's okay.
This year.
So what is it? So it's Flue Powder Harry Potter inspired.
It's on their shimmer sock base,
which is 63 US merino and 20% silk, 15% nylon, 2% sparkle glitz.
And then it's
flashy.
Finger and weight.
Finger and weight, yeah.
3-ply?
3-ply, yeah. It just means there's 3 bits of yarn that are plied together to make one strand.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to read the other stuff. But yeah, so pretty. And I said to him, do you want it on the Coquette sock like me, or do you want or they have it on a sparkle base? He's like, sparkle.
I was going to get
and
Chamber
Sam
of
says,
Secrets.
he's my soulmate.
I was going to get Chamber of Secrets.
Sparkle.
Because
see it.
Oh, it's like fireflies in there.
So pretty.
I was going to get Chamber of Secrets because that was my personal favorite from their Happy Christmas Harry Potter advent. I love that one so much. It was the 7th one we unwrapped, and basically throughout the entire rest of the Vlogmas I was rating, that one did not move down.
No, it didn't.
It didn't.
Oh, it's hot.
No, it was always my number 1. So I was gonna get it, and my mom said I wouldn't. I said, why not? And she said, because, like, what was your reasoning?
I don't even remember saying that.
I think you said you should get something a bit more mellow. Oh, because I think we were discussing making socks with them, and you said Chamber of Secrets is
Socks would be fine. I think you were talking about making a sweater.
Oh, a sweater. Yes, that's what it was. And you said
Chamber But you can't make a sweater out of this. It's not enough. So you could have got one for socks if that's what you wanted.
I don't know. I think I agree with you.
This is so pretty.
So I still love Flue Powder so much.
And what did you say you wanted? A shawl, maybe?
I said I wanted mittens.
Oh yeah, we could hold it double and make mittens.
I would like my mittens because then it goes with my 1980s outfit, which is my jeans, my solstice sweater this past year, which is the rainbow one on What's This, and then I have my rainbow glasses and my hair all slicked to the side and my 80s pin. And then if I have mittens, I'll just look super fashionable.
All right, well we can hold it double and do mittens.
I wanted a keytar, but that's a little excessive.
A little expensive for a keytar. Anyway, that's his. Super pretty. I love that blue and green together. Flue Powder. Amazing.
Just like
so that was Bumblebee Acres Farm, right?
Yes.
And then in the spring, I was doing a show at Merrymakers here at the Covent Garden Market here in London. It's part of the Merrymakers Fair. Whoa, you
I think I've had 10 yawns this episode.
Make sure you get some water then.
I'm drinking my tea.
And my friend Jolynn came by to visit and say hello, and she brought me a gift. So Jolynn and I are homeschoolers, and we've been friends for years and years and years, and she recently started her own yard dyeing business with her friend Carrie, and they are Leo and Roxy. And oh, this color. She's like, I brought you a present. I was like, what? And so I opened it and I was like, she's like, I know those aren't your colors. She's like, but I figured Isaac would love some stripes. She knows he likes bright.
It's showing up a lot more vibrant on the
It looks, well.
It looks like it's glowing, but it's not.
It's probably better if you do it back here, because then the light's not on it as much. It is that bright though. Like, it's that bright. It's just not like that.
No.
And so she brought me this Laffy Taffy, and it's on their, what's it say here? Self-striping, 80/20 sock. Yep. Yeah, Laffy Taffy. Okay, so, and I thought, oh my goodness, she's like, I know, but I thought Isaac might like some bright self-striping socks, because she knows he loves bright colors, and she knows he likes self-striping. So I thought we might end up doing 2 pairs of even short socks, one for each of us. Not necessarily ankle socks, but just like a shorter rise, because I don't like really tall socks anyway, and that would be enough for us to both get a pair. So much fun. So thank you to Jolyn and Carrie for that lovely gift. So sweet. And then of course Jolyn ended up buying yarn for me that day too, because she's so sweet. Yeah, it's so nice, you know, like when you have other people that you're friends with that dye, and you swap and you can trade and support each other. And you know, we're not too far from each other. They're in St. Thomas, which is just like 25 minutes away, but their colors are so different than, you know, what I dye. So we were talking about that, you know, being close to each other and competition and whatever. And it's just like, there is no really competition because we're not even the same, but also just because we want to support each other, right? Because you want to see everybody succeed, and there's enough yarn to go around for everybody. I love that. So bright. But yeah, I couldn't see it on my body. Oh, probably you wouldn't wear self-striping on your body anyway.
I would.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you would. You would.
It's just so
amazing.
Laffy Taffy, it captures it very well, I think. There's pink. If it looks just red and yellow from a distance, but if you look in there, you've got, I don't know how to get this particular strand. There's pink.
You won't be able to see it, honey. It won't come in. Yeah,
pink.
But it won't come into focus.
Oh, there's pink, and there's yellow, and there's
it's
oranges, and there's mellow reds, and there's vibrant reds. It's just
great.
very beautiful.
It is.
How do you get self-striping?
It's a lot of work.
Do you?
Have to. I don't do it.
No.
There are people, again, like Leo and Roxy and other dyers that do it, and so I let them do it because that's not my thing. They, you have to measure out each repeat based on the gauge and how many times you want it to be able to do a round. So if you wanted to go around 4 times, you have to measure that out.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I would prefer to just do the
self-striping
easy
yarn
stuff.
is more expensive because it's so much work.
Yes.
Doing that. Yeah.
Do the bees do self-striping?
I don't think so. No. Okay, so then we moved on to more acquisitions in Penland Falls at Kawartha Yarn Festival. I only went. There's only one thing I wanted when I went, and that was buttons from the Woodlot. So that's Jess. If you don't follow her, check out her Instagram and her Etsy shop. I've been buying her buttons for, gosh,
a century.
Do I look like I'm 100 years old? Rude.
Well, you do have a cup right there.
Oh, thanks, dude. For like probably a dozen years, or like 10 years, or close. Anyway, the first time I ever made a sweater that needed buttons, I bought them from her, and every time since I've gone back, and I have always said, do you have buttons that would fit this? And she'll say yes or no, and I always get them from her. So I knew she would be there, and I went to visit her and found these gorgeous buttons. They are, oh, I always forget the name. Spackled? That's not the right word. What's that word? Maple. Something maple. Yes. Put it down here. They won't focus because, you know, camera.
They're very beautiful.
Oh, yeah, so I bought 8 of those, and she threw in the 9th one for free because that was the last one she had, and she said, might as well just take them all. And I have a cardigan in mind for these, but they're just so pretty. Don't mind my dirty fingers. I was dying this morning, and I don't wear gloves. Oh. It's okay. Are they pretty?
Yes. Put it down there. I won't stress about it.
I love them. So yeah, check Jess's workout. Again, she's the Woodlot on Instagram. She does not just buttons, but she'll do, like, she just posted Brett's that she had just finished oiling, and I'm like, oh, if only I had hair to wear them, because they're so pretty. And she does like shawl pins, I think, and I feel like she might do pins for like when you wear your hair long and put a thing through it. That could just be the shawl pins. And like some little toy things like memory games and play money for kids. Lots of really great things. So check her out. So I was really happy to get those. Really happy to get those. And then right across the hall from me, not the hall, but like the walkway for me was Amanda of Yarn Enabler. And we were chatting. He's making himself a cup of tea. We were chatting about the festival and about just the business and dyeing and podcasts and stuff like that. And this was after the show had ended, so we're chatting, and all of a sudden I see somebody in her booth like tossing all her yarn into her bin, and this one struck me. I was like, oh my god, that's so pretty. And she's like, do you want to trade? And I was like, yeah, I want to trade. So she took a hand-dyed soft blank that I did. If you watched her podcast, you may have seen her wearing it around her neck. I think, Amanda, you should just wear it like that always because it looked really good. And I took this, which is called Blushing. It's so pretty. Again, it's on her, I don't know if it has a name in the base, but it's basically 80/20 sort of wash merino nylon, and those colors are just so pretty. And we were talking about, she was commenting a few different colorways and said, I really like this colorway. And I said, oh, that's my signature colorway, the Loving Path. She's like, I don't have a signature colorway. And I thought, well, you should get on that. And I think that Blushing, Amanda, should be your signature colorway because all the colors in your name there are in this skein of yarn. I think this would be perfect yarn enabler. I know it's not bold and bright the way you normally go, but I think that would be a perfect signature colorway. Anyway, I love this. I think it'll make such a pretty shawl for the spring. There's so many colors in there, yellows, and they fade to a little really pale green and pinks and salmons and orange and a bit of blue and a bit of purple, and I love it. So happy with that. Okay, so that summed up Feminine Falls. I did get something at Home County, but it was a purse. And it's not fiber related. Well, it is. It's leather. Leather's a fiber. No, it's not. It's a hide. Never mind. It's a cool purse, but it doesn't matter. And then, I just feel like I'm motoring through this. I apologize. Then we move on to Berry. Right? No, I'm just talking to you, but you don't have to be here from that.
Berry. I'm making another tea.
Okay. Did you take the tea bag out?
Yeah, with tongs.
Okay. Don't leave it in there because you'll get over-caffeinated, and nobody wants to be over-caffeinated.
I added a little sugar bit.
Oh, okay.
I've not drinking sugar tea in a while.
Okay. So, like I said, Berry was just phenomenal, and lots of opportunities to meet people and reconnect with old friends and things like that. And so I got to reconnect with my friends Lori and Emily from Lizzie Yarn, and we did a trade.
That's beautiful.
Oh, it's so pretty. I was really struggling. So of course both Emily and Lori wanted a skein of yarn, so we trade for two, which I was totally okay with. So I got these beautiful ones, and I think I'm gonna make the koboot hat, but this is like fingering knot DK, but I'll just hold it double, I think. Or it'll just be a thinner hat. I think I'll hold it double. And I thought those two were so pretty together. This is a one of a kind on their 75/25 soft sock. Super Rush Merino Nylon. And the colors in this are just amazing. Like golds and pinks and pastel-y peaches and like wine colored purple.
That's a one of a kind.
It's a one of a kind.
Which is a shame. I feel like it should be a
sometimes though, you know, dyers,
because it's so pretty.
Dyers just experiment though, right? And and you get one, you're like, oh, and you don't always write down what you did, so you can't always recreate it.
You've done that so much.
I've done that lots, yeah.
This is called Strawberry.
Yep, Strawberry. And that is their their kid silk lace. It is kid mohair and silk.
It's very fluffy.
That's the mohair.
I've never experienced a yarn so fluffy before. It's very interesting.
I was on a mohair kick back in my early 20s when I got back into knitting. And I think I mentioned this before. I would go down to Romney Wool in Toronto and just buy all the mohair. So I was going to make the koboot hat with some leftover mohair that I had. I still may do that. I may keep this for a shawl. I think it'd be really pretty as a shawl. And then I don't have to double this, and I can show it off as is. I might do that. I love it. I love it. You guys are so talented, and I love this so much. I'm so glad to have their yarn. So we traded for that, and then my lovely friend Shireen from the Blue Brick. Ah!
Is that their signature?
This?
This
What are you talking about?
This
Signature what? No, this is,
because
it's called Wine
blue.
Grapes. Oh yeah, no, I don't think so. It's a brand new colorway she did.
Mm.
And she posted this on Instagram, and I commented and said, because she was going to Twist, and I said, if you still have that at Barry, I am going to be all over that. And so when I walked into her booth and she gave me a big hug, and I'm like, do you still have it? And she's like, yes. And so we traded. She's like, I'll trade. I'm like, yes, let's trade. So this is her silky single ply, because I really love single ply. So it's 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk. You have to feel this to believe it. At 600 yards, it's insane. It's a lot of wool.
Oh my, it's very like flowy.
It's a lot of yardage. Well, you know, it's a single ply, right? So that is just one ply of yarn. Remember we talked about plied yarn?
Yes.
And how this looks different?
That was the other one.
Well, okay, even this one. Any of them, they're all. You see how there's difference? That one's got like crosses because it's plied. This is just one ply.
And it just feels so
And
beautiful.
silk and cashmere, like.
Cashmere
You
is
love cashmere.
When we're talking yarn, cashmere is just my heart and my joy and my soul because it's so soft. I love soft yarns. When
No,
you
who
would
doesn't?
make me so.
Well, I actually like rustic yarn.
You do. But when you made my solstice sweater a few years ago, which was the pink one, it was very nice to wear, but it was also very itchy on my body. And
The vest?
The vest.
Yeah, that had some alpaca in it.
I usually had to wear something underneath of it. I couldn't. I'm
Yeah.
just one of those people that, you know, textures. Like I love textures and then I hate textures. So when that just rubbed against my skin, some people can just pretend it's not there. I can't. I had to take it off and put something else on and then put it over top.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So this is gorgeous. I also need you to go grab me my notions pouch because I didn't get to shove the pin.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, this is so beautiful. So gorgeous, I just love it. So I took this and Shireen grabbed a skein of my Lady Edith, my NCN, which is willow fingering. You know, we had this conversation about how she's like, oh, I love this, it's so me, those colors, but I can't do that. I'm like, well, you know, anybody could do anything, but whether or not you want to do that is something different, right? Like, she does ombres and, like, those kinds of things so beautifully like nobody else. But I don't have the patience to do that. So, you know, she's got that down pat. So why would I not buy her yarn instead of trying to, you know, replicate that and spend all this time. So it's so nice to have people who do different things and then you can trade and get to experience both. So if you haven't used her yarn, oh my god, just go buy it right now. Thanks, Shireen. I love this so much. It's so beautiful. 600 yards. Oh, it's 150 gram skein. It's amazing. So then we also swapped pins because, you know, this is my notions pouch. It's got pins. It's actually heavy. Like,
Really?
Yeah, there's nothing. Okay, let's take that stuff out. And it's like really, there's nothing in it, but it's so heavy from pins.
May I?
You may.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, because those are all metal.
Yes.
So this is my latest one. She just released with her puppies. You can see that.
And that's the blue
Arya
book.
and Sammy, her dogs. Focusing my head instead of the pin.
I'm gonna get out.
There you go. Anyway, very sweet. And it's heavy. It's like big. And I love that. So we did a pin swap as well. And then, right beside me and Barry was Akara Yarns.
She's a very nice person.
She's Rose, and Rose Mariton on Instagram. And this base is so everything. But it wasn't the base, it was the colorway. I loved this colorway so much. So she kept coming over to my bin when there was nobody at her table, or my table when there's no one at her table, and it's like, I'm just shopping your yarn, and she said to her husband, okay, you just mind the booth, I'm gonna go shopping. And so we decided we would trade because that's fun. So she grabbed a couple fleeces so she could spin them up, and I grabbed this. And then we left and we were texting, and I'm like, I should have grabbed more for a sweater. So I don't really do a lot of sweaters and other dyers yarn just because, you know, you want to knit your own stuff. But this colorway, Rhubarb is called, yeah, and it's on her 100% superwash merino, and it is so soft, 17 micron merino, and just that colorway and those speckles, and I want a sweater in it, so we're gonna trade some more. we're going to just send each other a couple different things and do another swap so we can have more stuff, because I've got a sweater in mind for this and I love it. It's everything. Thank you, Rose. I love this so much.
Does she have a podcast?
I don't think so.
I
don't
would
know.
watch it.
Would you?
Well, I just watch her because she's very nice. I like her a lot. I went over to some people at Barry, and my mom was talking to my dad at their table, and my mom's friend, and Linda, that's my dad's cousin that came. They were all talking. Then I just walked to somebody's booth called the River of Yarn, and
Get my charger.
I said to her, "Hello, my name is Isaac. I'm the son of the loving Pat. You saw us this morning at the hotel. We ate bread." And then we just started having a conversation, and she was very nice.
And then you start following her on Instagram.
Yeah, and she probably doesn't know who I am, so, you know.
Your picture's on your thing. She might know.
She might recognize
Can you go grab my charger?
Yeah.
Okay, so my last acquisition, trade, was this gorgeous bag. Oh, hello. That's weird. From Delphina. Sophie is her name, and her business is Delphina. It's her card. I know it won't focus, but, you know. And, oh, goodness, she came up to me and said, "Do you want to trade a bag for some roving?" And I thought, yeah, I do. And I had this other bag in mind, which had little foxes, I think, on it. It was very light, like a soft, gentle print, which is similar to a lot of the things I get. And this one was just so bright and bold, which isn't normally me, but those colors I loved together so much. And I'm so glad I got this one. I just have not been able to stop staring at it.
It's really beautiful.
Isn't it great?
They're my colors.
They are your colors, but you can't have this back.
No. Okay.
So that was my last thing I got at Fibershare.
Very.
Berry. And I'm so happy. Like, so I didn't get a chance to go around and like shop at other people's booths so much, but we had some plans with these dyers, and I just feel like I got the perfect stuff for me. Those need to go back there because I was holding that up. I know, because my camera's moving. Because there we go.
The battery's dying, so now we have to plug in the charger. And, you know.
So I'm super happy with all of that. Oh, I love fiber shows so much. Okay.
Me too. See, it's nice for me too, because then I get to meet new dyers, and then it builds my knowledge of different community members of the yarn community. It's very nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's great.
And I also have watched podcasts with you.
You do.
So now I know the Bakery Bears, and I know the Grocery Girls.
I haven't watched podcasts in a really long time. I just don't have time. I haven't watched Grocery Girls in ages.
No, but you used to watch them, and I know
did.
Skein Deer Knits. The Bakery Bears are my favorite.
Yeah, you like Dan and Kay, don't you?
They make me laugh very hard.
And they're very educational. We watched them before we went to the UK, and it was really fun.
Did you get any ideas on where to go from them?
No, I just like Dan's knowledge of history.
Yeah.
Right? And he's very, very good at what he does.
I like how they move around. Like, I like how for podcasts they don't just have like, this is our stuff, this is our stuff. They have like, obviously their little segments, which is kind of what you have under different names and stuff. But I like how they always go places, like they go to like ancient castles.
Yeah,
and stuff.
well, they have all that stuff like on their doorstep, really, right?
Oh, it's so cool. And then I also like that they have, sometimes Dan will host a game show with knitting trivia for Kay, and you know, it's just so much fun. I love it so much. My favorite is what's in your sweetie jar. That's my favorite.
Sweeties that we don't get over here.
No.
Okay, let's go on. Let's move on. I feel like, where are we at an hour? Sorry, peeps. I'm not sorry. Speaking of saying I'm sorry, you know, as a Canadian, I say sorry a lot. And I think as a Canadian woman, I probably say it even more. A friend of mine on Facebook was saying the other day, she posted this link to someone giving a talk about us saying sorry. And how every time we say sorry, when it's not our fault, how it devalues us a little bit and makes us smaller. You know, so, I don't know, you're like walking down the street and someone bumps into you and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's not your fault. You didn't do the bumping into. Or, you know, like things like that. Or one of the examples was, you know, you go out for dinner and your food's cold. And you say, "Oh, I'm really, really sorry, but like my food's cold." But it's not your fault that your food's cold. Why are you apologizing? Right? It takes all the onus off of somebody else. And I know that I say sorry a lot for things that are absolutely not my fault.
I do it too.
Yeah, I think we're conditioned a lot to say I'm sorry.
Why? Because we're Canadian?
No. I just mean in general. I think just humanity in general.
Yes, but why is Canada so?
Because we're really polite. We're considered really, really polite. And, you know, we hold the door for people and we say we're sorry when it's not our fault. And I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
It's just manners.
Stop. Well, it's manners to say I'm sorry when you've done something wrong, but when you haven't, you're still apologizing for things that aren't your fault. That goes beyond manners, right?
Yeah.
So we were just talking about that, and so I'm trying to make a really conscious effort not to say I'm sorry when it's not my fault. So I'm like, I'm sorry this is so long. I'm sorry I keep saying but really, like, you know.
It's just every podcast does it.
So instead of saying, I'm sorry, could you please heat my food up, you could say, so the idea behind this was to say thank you instead. Thank you for heating my food up. You know, you don't have to say I'm sorry because you did nothing wrong. You could just say, my food is cold, thank you so much for heating it up. And that kind of empowers you a little bit, right? Instead of...
Oh yeah, or you could say, thank you for bearing with me for this very long podcast. Instead of saying I'm sorry that it's long.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, and if you're still watching, I'm very happy.
Yeah, instead of saying sorry it's so long. People are like, don't say sorry, you say sorry too much. It's like, oh I'm sorry, I say sorry too much.
Good.
So we're trying not to say sorry.
I'm gonna try
so much. Yeah, it's just about bringing awareness to what you're saying, right? And using your words in a positive way instead of a negative way.
And the other thing is when you say sorry when it's somebody else's fault and you're taking the blame, then you're letting them get off.
Yeah.
And then they feel like they don't have to apologize because, oh, well, you know, they just get away, right? You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Moving on.
That's my little spiel on sorry. Thank you for being here. So, okay, let's get on. Knit along. Hashtag Drove Sweaters Cal 2018 is still going on, even though I haven't been here for the last 3 months. I drew a winner for quarter 2, and I've been in contact with that winner. But I don't have her prize put together yet. She does know it's her. Okay. But again, like craziness. So I don't have a prize put together. But she knows it's her, and she's local to me, so she's fine with it. It's Marg Ruffle, who is Marg _ REFFLE on Instagram, or MREFFLE on Ravelry. Congrats, Marg! So excited when I found it was her. She knits the most beautiful things, and she's been a big supporter of mine for some time, and she's just so lovely. So I'm thrilled to put together that package. It will be coming to you soon. I will have the stuff to show in the next podcast, although she may already have it by then, but we'll see. And then the third quarter is open right now, and it runs till the end of September. So if you are knitting sweaters, this whole knit along was about increasing our wardrobe, growing our drawers full of sweaters, because I know shawls are big and socks are big, but I'm a sweater knitter through and through. I don't tend to knit a lot of shawls or socks, and so I really want to encourage others, especially if you haven't knit a lot of sweaters, to take the plunge and knit yourself a sweater. The most rewarding thing in the world. So the only rules were that it had to be an adult size sweater. Anything from extra small up is fine. And I think that was it. There may be another rule, but I forget what it was. Anyway, adult size sweaters. And we have a group on Ravelry called The Loving Path, and there is all the information is there about what it's about. There's a third quarter open. You can enter your stuff until the end of September. Even if you knit it before this quarter, if you knit it back in January, you can still enter it in this quarter. It's fine. Can't re-enter from past quarters, but you can re-enter something new. And I will be drawing shortly after September 30th, and then the final quarter will be drawn on December 30th. We'll get there when we get there.
Oh, you're doing like every 3 months?
Every 3 months, yeah, it's a quarter.
That's so clever.
Because then everyone's got, because it takes a while to knit a sweater, right? You can't just knit them in a month. So we're giving lots of time. So you could start January, you may not finish your sweater, like my Zweig was 6 months. You may not finish it for quite a while, so you just enter it whenever you finish it. What else I want to say about that? I think that's it. Third quarter closes on September 30th. I will be drawing shortly after that. I said all that. And there'll be a prize. There'll be a nice prize. The last prize was a couple skeins of yarn and a needle cozy and some stitch markers. So, decent prizes. Yeah. So go on to Ravelry and check that out. And yes, Isaac?
I was just going to say the fourth quarter of the year is my favorite. because October is just a nice spooky month, and then November is a nice warm month going into Christmas, and then of course December is Vlogmas. So those are my 3 favorite months I'll put together in quarters. I think this quarter that we're going through right now is my least favorite, except for my birthday part, because I don't know. I just don't know.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Okay, so that's that. And then shop news. Shop's currently closed. There's 2 things in there. But the rest of it's currently empty because I took everything to Barrie. I have to go through everything and like reevaluate what I have left and what's sold. And then I have to take it all to Kitchener Waterloo. So I'm gonna just wait until I think it's the 12th, that Wednesday after Waterloo, September 12th, it will reopen again. And everything that didn't sell will go in, and then it'll be open for business. I just can't open it again for a week just to close it again. It's too much. But what's in there now is 2 different things. I have this beautiful kit that I did with Cheryl of My Needle Crafts. We did this beautiful summer sock bag kit. So this ice creams and pink fudgesicles. I don't know what you call that.
That is a...
It's like it's not, and there's parfaits and pineapples and
that's a
fern leaves. Yeah. Watermelon slices on sticks, things like that. Really, really pretty pastel-y print. And then I dyed up the skein to match.
And what's it called?
It's called Summer Delights. Oh no, Summer Treats, my bad. Summer Treats. It's kind of blowing out there. And then you also get, which isn't here, a little ice cream stitch marker, which has the blue and the pink colors from the bag and the yarn in it. It's really cute.
So it all goes together.
It all goes together. Yeah, they're online in my shop, and they're there now. So if you're interested in that, they're pre-order only. So if you order one, it'll probably be a couple weeks turnaround time for you to get them, but they're there. So there's that. The other thing currently in my shop is my advent calendar. So, because I haven't been here, I haven't had a chance to tell you about them. But we decided to do an advent calendar this year, and it is called An Ode to Musical Theatre Advent Calendar. Because we do an Ode to Musical Theatre monthly mini skein kit, I really wanted to incorporate that into my advent calendar because we're such big musical theatre fans, right? So we love musical theatre, and so we thought we would do an advent calendar this year, and they've sold really, really well, but there are still some left. They're going to close and come down. The listing will come down on August 31st because I need September to get them ready, and they'll mail out the beginning of October. If you're in Canada, it might be a little bit later because they'll get to you really fast. But if you're overseas, it'll mail out for sure October 1st. And yeah, so here's some of the details. They're 10 gram minis. They're all going to be from different musicals. So if, let's say you bought a Wizard of Oz or a Les Mis or Sound of Music mini skein set from me before, none of the songs that were in those will be reproduced. Yeah, they're all going to be new songs and new colorways. Nothing's going to be recreated.
I have a question though. Could there be 2 different songs from the same musical?
Maybe. I haven't decided. I just said that they'd all be different, but possibly, but probably not. I think we probably can come up with enough. We already have a huge list.
25 musicals, so not that hard.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to need to do that.
No.
Yeah, so I think they'll probably be all different musicals. And so that's exciting, and those are in the shop currently, and will come down next Friday on the 31st of August. So if you're interested in a mini skein Ode to Musical Theatre Advent Calendar, one to open every single day of the year, not of the year, oh my goodness, of December, well basically not every day, but like the 1st to the 25th, you'll have one for every day.
Or you could be like some podcasts and open yours all at once.
Oh yeah, don't do that. That ruins it. You can do whatever you want, right? They're theirs to do. Yeah. But they're there for the taking if you're interested in that. If you love musical theatre as much as we do.
And I've also just realized that I remember how excited Bumblebee Acres Farm was when they watched us open it.
Yeah.
And if by any rare chance somebody has a podcast and they record it, it'll be so exciting for us to be like, woo! I would spend 20 or 30 minutes of my day watching another podcast open our our advent calendar, that would fill my heart with such joy. I would just love, because I know how much the bees were excited and how much I was excited when I watched our videos. So seeing somebody else open stuff that we've made would just be so.
And you know how much work goes into that, right?
Yes.
Right.
I live with it all the time.
Yeah, so you've seen me do all that, and you know it's a lot of work to put those together. So it is fun to watch people enjoy them so much.
If somebody did that.
Yeah.
Even if they just post it on Instagram, it'd still make me very happy.
Yeah, well, we'll keep our eyes open. Another kit that's coming up is, this is just a spoiler.
Uh-oh.
Can't give you any more details than that yet, but it's going to include this piece of fabric. What? So amazing.
What's it called?
I don't have any details yet. I just know that it includes this piece of fabric. That's all I'm giving them. So keep your eyes peeled for that in the next, where are we here?
End of August approaching?
Yep, next month. In the next month, keep your eyes peeled for that. Oh my gosh, I can hardly wait. I'm so excited. Okay. All right, so that's all of that. The only other thing I was going to do was go over a couple new colorways, although I feel like we're really running long. So. Okay, so a couple new colorways. Let's see here. This is a brand new colorway called Wild Child, just named for Isaac. Let me just see the tag. Really pretty. This is on my single ply. Also have it on Stellina. Beautiful autumny feel to that one, which I love. And then we have Up in the Air. I don't know what that there's lights in it. It's super duper bright. No, don't touch that. Don't touch, because if you touch that,
it'll fall. Yeah,
and you're going to make it really dark. But yeah, it's blowing out. But it's a beautiful, soft aqua with speckles of like a hot pink, turquoise. Really pretty. And it goes so nicely with Pretty Young Thing.
I like that one.
We'll close that front door. That'll help.
Sure.
So yeah, they go really, really nice together. And they also go really nicely with Shimmer, which kind of has all those colors in it. So Shimmer's base is a little bit like this color, and then so speckles of this kind of typical tags in a way. This color, and then it's over dyed a bit. And so I think this would just make a fabulous, let's do it this way. I think it would make a fabulous fade.
I was gonna say it would make a nice fade.
Yeah, so great.
What if you did this one first?
No, I wouldn't put that one in.
You wouldn't put the Wild Child?
No.
Well,
and then we've got Bewitched.
I think those four would do a good fade.
This is Shimmer. I can't remember if I said that. So great. And again, they aren't in the shop today, but they will be as of the 12th.
I love
So those are all single ply, polar fingering, and then I've got a couple sock to show you. Soul sock. This is Mojito, which is a beautiful mint kind of green, pale, it's not really mint, I guess. Kind of like a celery green with blue and orangey, bright orange speckles. It's really pretty. This is like a one of a kind currently. And then we have Stuck in the 80s.
Oh,
I know you love this, don't you?
Maybe we should make me mittens out of that one. I would like that a lot.
I'm obsessed with the 80s.
Is it a one of the kind?
No.
Or do you have...
And then I have Sea Glass.
I love this one too.
So pretty. Just reminds me, you know, obviously the water and the beach. And then when you find those bits of glass that are washed up, they're just so muted and pretty. And then this is the newest one, which is called Ahead by a Century, named for the fabulous Tragically Hip song. It's great speckles in there. Isaac, at camp this past session, his session song was Ahead by a Century. And when I dyed this, that name just came to me really strong. I thought, that's what this is called.
The yarns kind of tell you their names.
They do tell me their names.
You don't come up with a name, they tell it to you.
That's right. Okay, so this is something Isaac got for his birthday. He really wants to show you. And then we'll say goodbye. Careful, careful.
Being careful.
I know. Just heavy. So Isaac is a Leo, and he was born the year of the dog.
Does It depends on what year you're born.
Yep. And so this is one of his birthday presents. It says Year of the Dog at the top, and it was a panel of stamps that my husband had ordered him for the Year of the Dog.
I'm going to turn off the light.
All right.
Because
Turn the
it's
light off for a second.
being glare.
Yep. Still gonna be glary because the windows. But you can see it a bit better. You can see it a bit better.
What if I shut
Yeah,
this
that'd
door?
probably be better. There you go. You can see you in it now. And anyway, so we have that frame for him for his birthday. And it's a keepsake, eh?
Mm-hmm. We're going to hang it in the
You can get in the other room.
office, yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. So thank you for being here. Sorry that ran a little bit over time. Lots to show when you haven't been here for 3 months. 4 months maybe close.
It was 4 months, I checked.
4 months. I won't be gone that's like a third of a year. Oh my goodness. It won't be that long again, I promise. But I'm glad that you're still here and you're checking me out, and I hope you enjoyed this episode with Isaac. He won't always be here. So,
No.
he will be back for Vlogmas though. But he really just wanted to come on and say hello. He was missing being part of the action. Oh, you're a plant. He had all this whole pile of stuff to show you. He needs his own channel. So thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, you can give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like, and then you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I am the Loving Path Yarn. On Ravelry, I am the Loving Path, and on Etsy, I am the Loving Path, and I forget all this stuff. And there is a Facebook group as well, but it's mostly just Instagram shared over there. But it's also the Loving Path, so you can find me in all those places. Come say hi, I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, thank you for checking me out, and I will talk to you all later. Happy knitting. Bye.